The torrential Naples downpour mirrored the storm brewing within the opulent walls of the Grand Horizon Hotel, though only one man was truly aware of it yet. Charles Rivers guided his luxury SUV through the deluge to the hotel's gleaming entrance, the golden light within promising sanctuary. For most, the Grand Horizon was a bastion of comfort, but tonight, that promise felt hollow. Stepping out, Charles, a man whose quiet authority was as tailored as his Navy suit, adjusted his lapel. At over 6 feet tall, his presence usually commanded attention. Yet as his expensive shoes clicked softly across the marble lobby, scented with lilies and espresso, he prepared for a transaction, not a confrontation. Approaching the front desk, he offered a calm, warm greeting. "Good evening," he began, his voice steady. "My flight's been grounded by the storm. I'll need a room for the night." The clerk, a young man named Evan with meticulously styled hair and an air of practiced indifference, barely looked up from his screen. His fingers tapped with deliberate slowness. "I'm afraid we're completely full, sir," he stated, the apology in his words starkly absent from his tone. Charles surveyed the tranquil lobby. It was far from crowded. The soft ping of an arriving elevator announced just one other soul. He pressed gently, his smile unwavering. Completely full, not a single vacancy. Evan finally met his gaze, a thin, dismissive smile touching his lips. "That is correct. Nothing available." Just then, the revolving doors ushered in a middle-aged couple towing luggage. Evan's entire demeanor shifted instantaneously. His smile became broad and genuine, his voice coated in welcome. "Welcome to the Grand Horizon. Do you have a reservation?" The man indicated they did not. "Not a problem at all," Evan chirped, tapping briskly at his keyboard. Within moments, he was presenting them with a key card. "Enjoy your stay." As the couple departed, Charles cleared his throat, recapturing the clerk's attention. The calm mask he wore tightened almost imperceptibly. "I thought you just said you were fully booked." Evan's eyes darted away for a second, his professional veneer cracking. I meant nothing suitable for your requirements, sir." The implication hung heavy and ugly in the air. It wasn't about room types or availability. It was about assumptions about prejudice. Charles absorbed the silent insult, straightened, his expression becoming unreadable. "Thank you for your time," he said, his composure absolute. He turned and walked back into the driving rain, not defeated but decided. This encounter wasn't over. It was merely pivoting. Beneath the porte-cochere, shielded momentarily from the downpour, Charles didn't immediately seek another hotel. Instead, he lingered, partially obscured by a marble pillar, his gaze fixed on the lobby he'd just exited. A suspicion needed confirming. It didn't take long. A young man, looking weary from travel in cargo pants and a hoodie, backpack slung low, approached Evan's desk. Though Charles couldn't hear the words, Evan's effusive nods and quick production of a keycard were unmistakable. No hesitation, no feigned scarcity, just swift service. A firm line pressed Charles's lips together. This wasn't incompetence. It was intentional discrimination. His first instinct, a flare of indignation urging him to stride back in and expose the hypocrisy, was tempered by decades of high-stakes negotiation. There are moments for outrage and moments for calculated impact. Tonight demanded the latter. Slipping back into the driver's seat of his SUV, the cool leather a grounding sensation, he pulled away, the hotel's golden glow receding in his mirror. An idea, sharp and decisive, began to crystallize. This wasn't just a personal slight. It was symptomatic of a deeper issue, affecting countless others lacking the resources to challenge it. Charles wouldn't let stand. As the wipers swept rhythmically across the windshield, Charles navigated the rain-slicked streets. The rejection wasn't a wound. It was ignition fuel. Anger was inefficient. Determination was potent. He'd built an empire identifying and rectifying systemic flaws, often by surprising those who underestimated him. Tonight felt like a microcosm of that lifelong work, centered on the fundamental values of dignity and fairness. He pulled into the lot of Sandy's 24/7 Eats, a humble diner whose neon glow offered a different kind of refuge. Inside, amidst the aroma of coffee and frying bacon, he settled into a booth, opened his laptop, and accepted a mug of hot coffee from a quiet waitress. The Grand Horizon wasn't just a random target. It was part of a financially strained hotel chain his team had flagged weeks ago during routine investment analysis. He hadn't pursued it then. Too small, too peripheral. Tonight, it had become critically relevant. He dialed Lisa Reynolds, his formidable attorney known for executing complex deals with impossible speed. "Lisa," he began, his voice low but unwavering. "I need the acquisition paperwork for the Grand Horizon Hotel finalized. By sunrise." A pause on the other end. "Charles, sunrise? That's aggressive." "Consider it done, Lisa," he replied, the finality in his tone unmistakable. "Send the documents digitally. I'll sign immediately." He disconnected, gazing out at the rain-streaked window. This wasn't just about acquiring property. It was about acquiring the power to mandate change, to demonstrate that prejudice carries a tangible cost. Through the night, fueled by coffee and conviction, he meticulously reviewed financials, strategized immediate operational shifts, and digitally signed the final documents just as the first hints of dawn painted the Naples sky. The Grand Horizon Hotel was now his. Morning sunlight reflected off the Grand Horizon's imposing glass facade as Charles returned. Dressed in impeccable charcoal gray, he radiated a calm certainty that subtly altered the hotel's morning rhythm. Staff prepping for the day exchanged curious, uneasy glances as he entered. Evan, back at his post, offered his automatic, polished greeting, not immediately recognizing the man he'd turned away less than 12 hours before. Charles walked deliberately to the reception desk and placed a sleek black folder onto the marble counter. He opened it, revealing the officially stamped acquisition documents. "I believe introductions are in order," Charles stated, his voice measured, carrying through the suddenly quiet lobby. Evan's smile dissolved into confusion. "My name is Charles Rivers, and as of 6 a.m. this morning, I am the new proprietor of this hotel." A collective intake of breath seemed to ripple through the gathered staff. Evan paled, his carefully constructed composure shattering. I don't understand," he stammered. "Allow me to clarify," Charles continued, his gaze locking onto Evan's. "This establishment is now under my ownership, and last night I had the distinct displeasure of experiencing firsthand the selective nature of your hospitality. Frankly, I was unimpressed." Evan opened his mouth, perhaps to apologize or excuse, but Charles raised a hand. "No explanation is necessary. Actions communicate far more effectively than words, and yours spoke volumes." Turning to the assembled staff, whose expressions ranged from apprehension to intrigue, Charles addressed them collectively. "I invest in businesses built on fairness, respect, and inclusivity. Last night demonstrated that this hotel has fallen short. That changes effective immediately. The tension was palpable. You will all be given the chance to be part of this hotel's future," he continued, "provided you commit to treating every single person who walks through these doors with dignity. Prejudice, in any form, has no place here." His eyes returned to Evan, whose face flushed with anger and dawning realization. "Your actions last night disqualify you from being part of that future. You are dismissed." The words hung, final and absolute. Evan stood frozen for a moment, then turned and stormed out, trailing humiliation behind him. Charles let the silence settle before continuing, his tone shifting from judgment to forward motion. "What occurred last night wasn't just about me. It's a symptom of a culture that needs correction. From this moment forward, the Grand Horizon will be defined by respect." He gestured towards a young woman near the concierge desk. "Your name?" "Leah," she answered, her voice slightly trembling. "Leah," Charles acknowledged with a nod meant to reassure. "You and your colleagues will participate in comprehensive training programs. We will ensure every guest feels not just accommodated, but genuinely valued." He saw understanding flicker in Leah's eyes, and a subtle relaxing of shoulders among others. "Mistakes can be rectified," he added, scanning the room. "Growth is encouraged. If you embrace these principles, There's a future for you here. If not, parting ways now is best for everyone." He paused. "This hotel has immense potential, not just as a luxury destination, but as an example of true hospitality. Let's build that together." The following weeks saw the Grand Horizon undergo a profound metamorphosis. Physical renovations commenced almost overnight, replacing outdated decor with warmer, more inviting designs, transforming the lobby from intimidatingly exclusive to openly welcoming. Simultaneously, the cultural overhaul began. Experts led intensive workshops focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion, sessions that fostered open dialogue, challenged ingrained biases, and equipped the team with tools for creating a genuinely hospitable environment. Leah thrived, her natural empathy and dedication earning her a promotion to assistant manager. "I never imagined this," she confessed to Charles. "You earned it, Leah," he replied simply. Word spread. Positive reviews flooded in, praising not only the refreshed aesthetics and luxurious amenities, but, more significantly, the palpable atmosphere of kindness and respect. Guests curious about the transformation returned, while new visitors arrived, drawn by the hotel's burgeoning reputation for inclusivity. The Grand Horizon was shedding its tarnished past and becoming known for excellence rooted in empathy. One bright morning, Charles stood in the revitalized lobby, observing the seamless, warm interactions between staff and guests. Leah approached, clipboard in hand. "Mr. Rivers, the latest guest surveys are outstanding. Over 90% cited the staff's hospitality as a highlight." Charles smiled. "That's the goal, Leah. It's always about the people." As she moved off, he reflected. He'd built fortunes and companies, but this felt different, more fundamental. Meanwhile, Evan, the dismissed clerk, found his prospects in the hospitality industry severely diminished. Forced into a less prestigious role elsewhere, he began, slowly and painfully, to confront the attitudes that had cost him his position. Back at the Grand Horizon, a family checked in. The father, noticing Charles, paused. "I read about the changes you've made here," he said, extending a hand. "It's truly inspiring." Charles accepted the handshake, his expression open. "This place is for everyone now," he replied softly, "as it always should have been." Watching the family head towards the elevators, Charles felt a sense of quiet satisfaction. The Grand Horizon was no longer just a building. It was a living testament to the idea that true value lies in dignity, and that one person's commitment to principle can indeed rewrite a story.